Hi there and welcome to this 2-minute tips video. Today we're going to be looking at CL or continuous low mode shooting speed. So this is a piece of functionality in the Z6 and Z7 and also the Z50 that allows us to vary the number of frames per second that the camera will shoot when set into continuous low mode or CL mode. As you know, in the Z series cameras we've got various options for the speed of shutter release. We've got single shot, we've got continuous low, and then we've got two options for continuous high. And this is specific to the continuous low setting. And it may be something we've tended to leave set to its default, which is 3 frames per second. Now, one of the challenges with the Z6 and Z7 are their buffer sizes. You can imagine when you're shooting a perhaps faster moving subject and you've got the camera set in burst mode and you shot a series of shots, we're dealing with some quite big file sizes, particularly with the Z7, and the buffer fills up quite quickly. And when this happens, the camera will slow down the speed at which it releases the shutter until the buffer clears. And therefore this means you run the risk of missing the shot. It could be that you're perhaps shooting a slower moving subject where you don't actually need 3 frames per second, you only need perhaps 1 frame per second or 2 frames per second, and therefore you can adjust the setting in CL to shoot at a slightly slower rate, which reduces the chance that the buffer's going to fill up. Equally, one of the reasons I quite like this setting, sometimes I know I'm going to be shooting something where I'm going to be trying to shoot single shots. However, there's a chance I might want to shoot a burst when the subject moves perhaps a bit unusually or unpredictably. And therefore, if I set this to 2 frames per second or 3 frames per second, I can take single shots and release the shutter release quick enough I don't take a burst, or I know I've got the option to hold the shutter release down and take a burst of 2 frames per second, which will be fast enough to capture a shot where I perhaps would have missed it with single shots. So it gives you the option to just adjust the setting very subtly depending on what you're going to be shooting. We can do this in a couple of ways. You can assign it to the I menu, the I button, and change it within there. Or you can go into the custom settings menu and look for option D1, the CL mode shooting speed option. And when you go into there, it's a fairly simple, straightforward setting from 1 frame per second up to 5 frames per second, depending on what you want to achieve. So I hope you found this useful. If you did, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell below and you'll be notified of future videos, and I look forward to seeing you on a future video.